Hi, it's Mindy. Welcome back to Judas 8:2. So I'm going to read a devotion for you, and I pray that it blesses you. It's a heavy devotion, especially for those that are strongly and pridefully American. Now, a little disclaimer, I'm blessed and thankful that I live in the nation of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. But I always pray before these devotions are written. And little disclaimer, this devotion was written in 10 minutes. My pen just going faster and faster, so there's no way that I could have thought of all this on my own. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're listening to this. So I'm going to read this devotion. Yesterday, I spoke with someone. Now, a little background on this person. This person has been a strong supporter of all things political, and this person also comes from a background of faith. Now, earlier in 2020, this person was steeped in strong beliefs on COVID and politics. When they would speak with me, a lot of the conversation was geared towards politics. Well, on their end anyway. My response was, however, whatever will be, will be. God is sovereign, and all things are pieces of the puzzle to his plan. I was accused of having my head in the sand. However, I disagree. My head was right where God had put it, in his word. Now fast forward to the other day. Of course, politics was mentioned, and the person was astonished that I would accept the coming election results. This person said that they had faith that the results would be overturned. Their stance was that America is a righteous nation and that we do so much good in the world. Now, I am American as the next person. I love my nation, and I always take a stand to defend the freedoms that so many fought and bled for, and that we all enjoy, even the freedom for this person to hold their opinions on us being a righteous nation. However, we are far from a righteous nation. Sure, we do a lot of good in the world, or what we see as good. Remember, all of our righteousness is like filthy rags before God. However, we also practice a lot of evil. Americans have become lovers of self and vain and greedy. We have become violent and full of rage and lawless. And we call what is evil good and what is good evil. Now, if God's own chosen nation of Israel was called an adulterous nation and a stiff-necked people by him, where do we get off thinking that our nation is so righteous? Now, I'm not speaking of Americans that hold strong convictions, but you can see everywhere that the nation has drastically changed from where it was just 50 years ago. Your faith should not be in your country. Your faith and allegiance should be with holy God. 1 Corinthians 10:12 says, "Therefore, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall." Be careful not to put country over God, because God, in his just and perfect will, can and will bring a nation to its knees. We have here in America an untouchable and prideful stance. But the Bible says in Proverbs 16:18, pride comes before destruction, and an arrogant spirit before a fall. Well, there you have it. Those are the words from the Holy Bible. Those are God's words, not mine. So, is your faith in a nation or in the sovereign God that works all things, even national calamity, for good? We are in the second half of the game, and time is running out before the return of the King. So will you have faith in your nation, run by fallible man, or will you have faith in a holy and righteous and sovereign God who knows what he's doing? So choose this day whom you will serve, a nation coming undone, or sovereign God with a steady hand, and who is quickly returning with his reward in that hand. I love my country, and it's sad to see that so many are putting faith in the country in itself. Folks, America's falling apart, and I want the best for our nation. I want the blessings of God to continue to flow. But I mean, you have got to agree that things are not the way they were so many years ago. It's getting worse and worse. And though I pray that this next coming year is better than 2020, when you look at the word, man, it's going closer and closer to God's purposes and God's ultimate plan to bring the return of the King. And if you study prophecy and you study Revelation and you study Daniel, you see the destruction that's about to come on the earth. And we have this way of thinking in America that we're untouchable and we have a great army and we have this and we have that. And sure, we do. We are a very blessed nation. But why, if you are a follower of Christ and you're an American, I feel like sometimes we have this mentality of the persecution and the going without is for over on the other side of the world. That when the cups and the bowls of wrath and the Antichrist is revealed on the world stage, that we'll still be able to get car loans here in America and we'll still be able to go out to eat to the steakhouse here in America. That's not so. That's not so. God is cleansing the world. And we're part of this world here in America. So we need to get our heads out of the sand. Sure, we can hope and pray for the best, but at the end of the day, you need to put your faith in God. And you need to remember that when everything's falling apart, the way we see it, it's actually fallen into place to where God sees it and what God's trying to do. So don't be fearful when you see these things happening in our nation. Rejoice, because the plan is coming together. And God will sustain you. He will take care of you. Jesus said, in this world you will have trials and tribulations, but fear not, because I have overcome the world. So believe Him. Trust Him. Don't put your faith in the election. Don't put your faith in Republicans or Democrats or independents or libertarians. Put your faith in holy God and knowing that His plan is coming together.